the one easy adjustment for the Knicks would be just make shots.
Go at
Like,
the guy
wide
with
open
1
shots.
foot. I'd go at the guy with 1 foot. That's what I'd do.
But like Jalen Brunson 0 for 7, RJ Barrett 1 for 5, and as I recall, those were wide open looks. Josh Hart 0 for 4, wide open looks. Like, if the Heat are going to live with those looks, it's a totally different game if they just shoot like 35%. And I don't think that's too big an ask because the guys they're leaving open are capable of making shots. Julius Randle is going to come back. He's more capable of making shots sometimes.
I guarantee if the adjustment is Julius Randle, go shoot some threes, Eric Spoelstra will live with that.
Actually,
it's a 5-game series. It's
the thing is,
4 maybe.
I actually think
this
is an Obi Toppin series for the Knicks. I actually think that they should keep him in the starting lineup, but maybe you run Randle out there on bench units when shit's not going well. The problem is Julius Randle's not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, there's 2 guys I trust for the Knicks. It's Jalen Brunson and it's Josh Hart. I trust those guys for the Knicks. Everyone else, like this idea of like you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Nah, like they have to prove it.
Well, I trust Mitchell Robinson, but he was mitigated in the second half when they started packing the paint. They kept him off the glass, and that changes everything for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson's rebounding is hugely important for them.
And maybe that's where Julius Randle then can actually make an impact is on the offensive boards. But man, like I just think he's going to ruin a lot of the flow of what they do. He might have a game, but over the whole of the series, like I don't know. I think it's a bad matchup trying to get Julius Randle to go against this Heat defense.
And I think it's a great matchup for Julius, honestly, because it's either going to be Kevin Love guarding him and the rest of Miami's rotation is smaller guys. Because Bam is probably going to be on Mitchell Robinson. You got to keep him off the glass.
But you got to take away the lob. Like the ball was moving, the ball was flowing. They're getting open shot. Like that's gonna Julius Randle isn't a guy incapable of playmaking, but he's a ball stopper.
On top of that, you're talking about even when it's the smaller guys on him, then he's got to go guard those guys, and those guys are active. You put him on Caleb Martin, he's giving up offensive rebounds because Martin's going to come crashing in from the corner and things like that. Like those are the plays that you have to live with that, and you have to hope you get enough from him offensively. And I don't think you're going to.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't think you do.
This has to be a series where Jalen Brunson takes over. Like Jalen Brunson has to be the guy.
I was going to say that third quarter, Julius Randle, and that late fourth quarter, Julius Randle was missed. Like those down times where you just need a bruiser and then somebody that's as aggressive, whether he makes it or not, he gets to the line. That's what they truly needed. And everybody else is kind of finesse. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the Heat is, they like to play physical. And if they can punk you, they can punk you. You know what I mean? And in that situation, they got punked. So, in this situation, I do think that Jalen Brunson is going to have a better series. Kyle Lowry's IQ stepped up in their big. You know what I mean? Like, so they made some young mistakes and was forced to that way. But I just think this has a potential. Obviously, the Knicks fans are kind of delusional sometimes, but they kind of match up really well in some extent when they're all healthy. You know what I mean? With no Tyler Hero, I just still leaning on the Knicks to kind of figure it out, do some adjustments, especially if Jimmy's kind of ginger. You know what I mean? And that with his ankle.
That to me, that's the only saving grace for the Knicks in the series is that Jimmy got hurt.
Yep,
that's it. Like I think he's too good. He's too good they have no one to match him.
He's the best player in the series, and it's nowhere close.
Yeah,
this is not like him and Giannis could potentially go back and forth on any given night. He is the best player in the series, and Jalen Brunson's next probably, but it's a long way before you get there.
Because Bam's afraid of the ball. Bam's afraid of the ball, so it's Jalen Brunson next.
By the way, another point pro Randle here is that Heat bigs committed 2 fouls the whole game. Kevin Love had 1 and Bam had 1. There was just no pressure at the basket. No, they weren't bumping down there at all, and that's where Randle could muck it up a little bit and maybe just create a little bit more pressure for Miami.